But then, it's great that I'm pretty glad that you joined chemical engineering, and it's really great to see where you are today. But going back to when you started working in the industry, because then what was your very first job when you graduated right after school?
Was process engineering, working for a polymer textile industry, which actually I had the luck that wasn't that far away. So although I know that if you're a process engineer, it's most likely you're going to be either in a small town or in the outside of the city, but this specifically was in the heart of the city, and I had no excuse on that. So I really enjoyed all the process engineering part, and the life-work balance was relatively okay.
Okay, amazing. And as being a process engineer right after school, what were the normal or typical responsibilities that you had to deal with?
Well, the very first one will be to maintain your boss happy. That's the basic one. And in order to do so, I had to actually control the process and maintain all the textiles and all the, I don't know how to say them, but when you wind them, all those yarns, and they must be within specification. And the specification, that's also an interesting point, because sometimes you actually set them up as a company internally, or sometimes the client comes and says, I want such specifications. So it was a challenge to maintain both, because sometimes they were very wide, so you could actually relax on certain type of specifications. But in some other cases, which will be most of the cases, you need to adapt a lot of the process in order to adjust to the final specifications that the client is asking for.
Okay, amazing. And if I was to ask, because let's say if someone else if someone else wants to work as a process engineer, what were the key skills that you had to use at your job?
It really depends on the type of process engineering jobs, because there's a lot of variety. But depending, the most common ones, I'm going to aim for the common ones, which I would say mine was a common one or general one, because sometimes you work by yourself, sometimes you don't go at the factory at all, you can do it all via internet or so. But the most common one is you need to be there, you need to show the example for the process engineers or junior engineers or all the operators. And what you need to do is, essentially be there on time and showing how the process is done, because operators have it easy in the sense that you have the specifications, I do that. And I'm going to be 8 hours in the machine checking out that, but the specification is your task. So generally, I would say that was the day-to-day life. You just go there, check out the routines, the machines, get together with the team, try to work, a lot of teamwork, I would say. What are type of skills? And of course, mathematical, analytical skills. You need to know all the points or try to relate them. Computer skills as well, because there's a lot of things that you can do with the computer. Sometimes it's way easier just to use Excel or a type of charts that will show you very clearly the position. And talking about that, it's not just about finding the data, but also exposing them or presenting them to your boss or fellow colleagues. So that's another skill, very important skill, is maybe you have the truth and you want to make a change that will impact in a positive way. But if you are not able to convey that, let's say that idea, I will say that skill of interacting, like emotional intelligence, know who to say what, when, to who, and that type of interaction is very valuable. And specifically for engineers, like most of the engineers have the analytical and mathematical ideas, but the other side will be the soft skills. So those are much more valuable, I will say, in the long run.
Okay, amazing. Yeah, that's very nicely put. And I fully agree. Soft skills are much more important than having the hard skills, even if you're working in the industry as an engineer. So that was very nicely explained. Because now that you graduated and you got the job directly as a process engineer in the industry, if I was to ask, how was your experience on a personal level? Maybe in general, like the work-life balance, like you mentioned in the beginning, that you have to be there, you have to be present all the time, and generally those things.
So the main problem was that I saw my boss and they couldn't take that much of vacations, even though they actually had the days or the holidays or I don't know. But I saw them that they had to be always here because if something happens, they need to be here, like making calls or messages, which is a very millennial thing to do. Doesn't really work that much when things are urgent. So being here is the best thing that you can do in order to make stuff happen. And that's literally what I didn't want back in the day. I didn't want to be here, or maybe I have 1 month of vacations. I want to go to, I don't know, travel the world or do whatever thing, whatever I can imagine, not being here. And that was almost impossible. So I had to maybe take 1 week, then maybe 2 weeks later in the year. And maybe I had to wait for vacations in the holiday season. So that had some impact in my life, that felt that I wasn't in control of my life. So that was something that really helped me to change the idea of being a worker overall.
I mean, that's a very nice point as well, because as a process engineer, you are kind of dependent on the schedule of the production and not the other way around. So you have to plan your life according how the production is going, right? Fully understand what you mean with that. But thank you so very much for sharing everything about your job experience. But now,
thank you for listening. And if you have not done so already, remember to become a free member at Chemical Engineering Life. And do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and stay tuned for more upcoming podcasts with chemical engineers. Thank you and have a great day.